What is up, lovely researchers? It's Kevin, and today I wanted to talk about how to kick off a UX study the right way. If you're new here, I make videos on all things UX research related, so make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon for new, exciting UX related things. When you get a study request from your client or your stakeholder, you always want to make sure you understand the problem. Like I always say, you can't figure out solutions until you understand the problem. So here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna send an email to your stakeholders with a document that just says, hey, brain dump all your questions in here, all your research questions in here, and we're gonna talk about it in our kickoff meeting. Then they're gonna start populating their questions in there, and it's okay. You don't even have to look at it just yet. Then you're gonna schedule that meeting with your stakeholders, and in it, you're going to facilitate that meeting and talk about 6 key points. So here we go, starting with the first thing. The first thing you want to talk about in your meeting is have them talk, actually. You're going to have them describe the background of the project. Get to know a little bit more about it if you haven't already. What do we have so far? What are the facts? What are the opinions? And what are the guesses or assumptions? That's called the FOG exercise. Facts, opinions, guesses. Figure out if there's something to test or something they want to learn about. The second thing you want to find out is who. Who are going to be your target participants? Assess it out. The third thing is the goals, the most important part of this meeting, the goals. What are the objectives of this research? Why are you doing it in the first place? If you want to actually translate this to your stakeholders, this is what you'll say. What do you want to learn? And oftentimes in one of these meetings with all the higher ups in there, product managers, designers, engineers, sometimes they might not be aligned on the same goal. If that happens, one thing that I learned really helped was to ask people to, on a post-it note, just write down the goal that they think they're solving. All right, everyone does it separately. They write down the goal on a post-it note, and then after a minute or two, you gather together and you compare it. Then you really know if they're actually aligned or not. The fourth thing, we're getting close to number 6. The fourth thing you want to figure out are the research questions. So remember that document you sent out to them before the meeting to have everyone brain dump their research questions? This is where you want to align on the top research questions and then prioritize them. Is this a must-have for the study? Is this a nice-to-have? Because you only have a certain amount of time with your participants, you want to figure out which ones are most important questions that you want to learn from this study. If something is out of scope, nicely, politely tell them that this could be for a different study or it makes sense for a different study. We might glean some insights from this study, but we're not going to focus on it now. So research questions, prioritize them. Number 5, when you've discussed the goals and the research questions, the background, who you're going to recruit, this is when you want to ask them to think forward in the future. What are you going to do with these results? What will be the next steps? Let's imagine that if we got these results back from the study, what are we going to tell leadership? What are we going to tell stakeholders? So think about these questions and envision what your next step is going to be. Because you don't want to do research and then come back with, oh, that's interesting. So what? What do we do? You don't want to do research like that. Number 6, ask your stakeholders what their success metrics are. How do we know if this research was successful? Like, what are you looking to track? What are you looking to learn from this study? And how do we know if we've been successful? How do you define success for this product? So those are the top 6 questions that you should ask in a kickoff meeting with your stakeholders for a UX research study. There's another one that I like to ask, and that's part of the background. If they're when they're talking about the background, if they haven't mentioned this when they're describing the project, ask them, what is the motivation for this study? What's the motivation for this product? For example, if it's some new product, are they trying to just go to market? Are they trying to differentiate from a competitor? Are they trying to take the competitor out? Think about what this project is for. So ask them that too if they don't mention it. This is a really good way to kick off a UX study with your stakeholders because you're involving them. You're asking them what their input is, what they know about it, having them all prioritize together. All you're doing in this meeting is asking to learn what the study is about and facilitating it. The rest of it, they're telling you. It's just as much their research as it is yours. And that's how you want to make them feel. You want to make them feel like partners, not just like a client, but a partner. They're in it with you. And this is honestly the only way I've ever known to start a study with stakeholders, because I want to get everyone in the same room, aligned, and understand the problem, because I wouldn't even know what I'd be researching if I didn't understand the problem from them, right? If you've done it another way, just comment down below. I'm curious to know if there are better ways. But the reason why I made this video is because I've heard stories of researchers. Now, I haven't met someone personally, but I've heard stories of other researchers who go off, just do research that they think should be done, and they come back to the stakeholders and nothing aligns. The stakeholders didn't even know they were doing research. So it's like, that's the kind of thing that turns off your stakeholders to research. So you want to involve them. Don't go off by yourself, because that makes a bad name for researchers. Like, they're just isolated. Don't be like that. I never thought this was a thing, so I don't know. I hear stories about it. So that's it. That's how you have an efficient meeting with your stakeholders to talk about the research that you're doing. So again, it's the background, goals, research questions, prioritize the research questions, talk about what you're going to do with the results, the next steps, and any motivations for the study if they haven't mentioned already. This is a great way to make everyone feel included and involve them in research. They're a part of it too. Facilitate the meeting in your style, and remember to keep it fun. If you found this video helpful, make sure to smash that like button. I make videos on all things UX research related to help you become the most badass UX leader. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon for your dose of UX badassery. Mad love. Peace.